Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now January 20th of 2022, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2 and The Bad Batch, a lot of Star Wars fans around the world have truly been looking forward to what's next by George, Jon, and Dave Filoni, and exactly what's in store for the Star Wars lore when it comes to everything that's ranging from TV shows like Star Wars Ahsoka, The Mandalorian Season 3, the Kenobi TV series, and more. That's really going to all come together to really give the fans something truly special to look forward to. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do make sure to post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really interact with you guys further. So what's even all the more exciting right now is the fact that we have George, Jon, and Dave really implementing a lot of Star Wars legends and mixing it in with the new, and exactly how that's all going to really progress to something completely original that we have yet to have seen. Now, we already know that characters like Sabine Wren, Ezra Bridger, Grand Admiral Thrawn are all coming their way into the Ahsoka Tano series. That's going to be the one show in 2023 that's really going to take a lot from Star Wars Rebels characters and throwing them into the form of live action, while also incorporating the Thrawn trilogy elements from the 1990s and other stories from the early 2000s, and throwing that into the Ahsoka Tano series as well. So with that being said, what's even all the more intriguing has everything to do with Jon Favreau and exactly what he's been up to behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm. We already know that what he's doing with The Mandalorian Season 3 is going to go beyond expectations when it comes to new revelations that will come to light for the character of Grogu and for the character of Luke Skywalker, and how that's all really going to be unveiled in a very specific and respectful way to the fandom. So, with that being said, what's really intriguing about all of this is that with both Disney and Lucasfilm now getting ready to begin filming the Ahsoka Tano TV series with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they are also preparing to end filming for The Mandalorian Season 3 by this March. Now, it's described, however, that both Favreau and Filoni are actively making great changes behind the scenes at Lucasfilm. Now, it's noted that Lucas, Favreau, and Filoni are currently doing something very significant to the Star Wars world. However, in a recent interview with Jon Favreau, he was able to talk more about his path within the Star Wars universe and Kathleen Kennedy's impact on the franchise. Favreau went on to state that it was always my dream to bring in these characters like Ahsoka, Luke, and even Boba into the franchise, and what those characters would be like on a more personal level. I really wanted to do this with Season 1. Myself and Dave had discussed this with Kathleen Kennedy, and she didn't really understand that direction at all, to say the least. In fact, it was a hard time convincing her to bring these characters back in the beginning. It wasn't until I kept on pushing for these characters to at least have a shot in Mando Season 2 that she finally had agreed for me, of course, to bring those characters in Season 2. Now, we were, however, supposed to have some pretty exciting and big scenes for Season 1 that sadly never got to be filmed due to our creative differences. So, once again, this is a prime example that Kathleen Kennedy always seems to have creative differences with the creators like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. We have seen this time and time again. There is nothing really new that comes out of Kathleen Kennedy, nothing that really changes in her mindset. It's always about her way or the highway. That's pretty much her way of thinking, and it's an unfortunate way of thinking because that's when you lack creativity. Now, Season 1 was supposed to be much larger than originally intended. You know, Jon Favreau was aiming for all of these goals for bringing in characters like Luke, Ahsoka, and Boba Fett right from the get-go. He really wanted to do that with Season 1 to really start things off on a big scale, like to really kind of give the fans something truly to look forward to right away. Now, Season 1, I will say, I'm not complaining. It was very good. You know, it really did create a good starting point for the Mandalorian series. But if we had those characters introduced in Season 1 right from the beginning, it would have given us, more, opportunities and adventures with those characters for Season 2. Moving on. So he goes on to state that I remember clearly that me and Dave wanted to have this mega scene at the end of Season 1 that involved Luke Skywalker fighting a handful of Imperial stormtroopers. We had the whole scene written and that it was going to be the middle of a large field with crashed TIE fighters. We were very excited about this, but sadly Kathleen shot this down for us creators back in 2019 when I was writing the series. This was before Episode 9 had released. It was always my dream to bring in Luke Skywalker, and it took us many hoops to shoot through in order to bring him back once and for all again. We had another scene planned for Season 1 that also involved Ahsoka Tano. We had scenes written for her before everything was final, where Ahsoka was going to actually cross paths with Din Djarin by accident, instead of Din searching for Ahsoka like she did in, of course, like he did in Season 2. Now, we wanted the scene to progress to a moment where she would see that Din has the child, and that Ahsoka would later train the child. This is another scene that myself and Kennedy ran into creative differences for. We realized that the fans are always expecting great things from creators, and we tried to do these amazing things with Season 1. However, I am thankful that we finally got the gears going on this great adventure for these beloved characters in the Star Wars world. We have such exciting stuff coming your way for Season 3, and like myself and Dave have said, the Force is going to be strong with the season, so I hope you're all ready. So, on top of all of this, alright, we already know that Favreau has a lot in store for TV shows like the Ahsoka Tano series. Now, what Jon and Dave are doing is that they are going to be bringing in the World Between Worlds. That's going to basically be their own version of time travel. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now, the thing about Season 1 and all those great ideas getting shot down by Kathleen Kennedy, as Jon said, involving scenes with Luke, Din Djarin, Boba Fett, Ahsoka Tano, Grogu, you name it, it really goes to show you that Kathleen Kennedy really was trying very hard to suppress those characters from really surfacing so early on in the process, and really didn't want those characters to be unveiled, you know, while or even before Episode 9 had debuted in theaters. I think that she really was trying to prevent that contrast of what was lackluster and what would have been very, very, you know, substantial, like very, very positive and very much in tune with the vision of George Lucas. If The Mandalorian Season 1 had those beloved characters right away, fans would have seen the contrast between that and the Skywalker saga's end very quickly, and I think that obviously Kathleen Kennedy was very afraid of that. She was very concerned about that surfacing, and it's just so apparent at this point that when you look at everything related to what Jon Favreau has been doing with, of course, Season 2 and what he's now doing with Season 3 and Season 4 and so on and so forth, it just goes to show you and makes you realize that there is a lot at play here. There's a lot of work being poured in to The Mandalorian Season 3 that's going to take a lot of, you know, stories from Legends, a lot of stories from George Lucas's unused material from Star Wars Legends, which is also going to be quite exciting. I mean, there is a lot in store here for the future of the Mandoverse at will. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, once again, she's only working on the Acolyte TV series as of right now. She's been having a lot of trouble with the show. She's been having a lot of issues with Leslie Headland and some of the Star Wars directors that have, you know, came and went many times. A lot of people got fired here and there. That's exactly why I don't believe that the Acolyte series is going to make it on the schedule for 2023. We'll have to wait and see. So far, they're not going to begin filming until this April, and that's if, and only if, they stay on schedule and stay on course for that actual, you know, production to begin filming for that. So, overall, I would like to hear your thoughts on Jon Favreau's thoughts on the overall, you know, creative differences between himself and Kathleen Kennedy, and what he really had to go through to finally bring these characters into the equation. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.